What if I told you right now that the Detroit Lions are going to be football's next dynasty? You'd probably look at me, and rightfully so, like I was a crazy person. This is a team that's finished at the bottom of their division over the past 2 seasons, and has won one of their last 13 games. Yet here I am saying that they are not only going to be good, and not only are they going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be a dynasty in the same way that the Patriots of the 2000s and the Steelers of the 1970s were. A prediction like this seems absolutely insane, and obviously, I don't believe that this will happen. But someone made a prediction very similar to this. On October 4th, 1990, one man predicted that the Dallas Cowboys would become football's next dynasty, and amazingly enough, he was right. And when you consider the context behind this prediction, it gets even crazier. This is the story of one of the craziest predictions of all time, 30 years later. Let's talk about what happened in the lead up to this fateful October 4th day. To be blunt, the Cowboys stunk. In 1988, the Cowboys went just 3-13 and wound up finishing with the worst record in football. Somehow in 1989, they were even worse, going 1-15 and once again finishing with the worst record in football. They didn't even have the first pick in the draft that year since they used it in the supplemental draft on quarterback Steve Walsh. The move didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, as they took Troy Aikman with their first pick in 1989, but that's besides the point. Things did not get much better for the first month of 1990, as the Cowboys went just 1-3. In their most recent game, they lost 31-17 to the New York Giants. If you're doing the math at home, and you're adding everything up, in their last 36 games, the Cowboys had gone 5-31. That's a winning percentage of less than 14%. If we're just going by their winning percentage since Jimmy Johnson took over as the head coach, their winning percentage was 10%, as they had won 2 out of 20 games. For some perspective on just how bad this 36-game stretch was, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a better winning percentage over their first 36 games in franchise history than the Cowboys did during this stretch, and they started 0-26. Yet despite all of that, some man by the name of Chris Kelly, for some reason, saw the light at the end of the tunnel. He saw that the Cowboys were building something special and were about to become a dynasty. Did the logic behind this prediction make a whole lot of sense? Well, much like the video I made about the person who used astrology to predict that the Jets would win Super Bowl III, the logic is very flawed, and it's not really based on a whole lot. The first 2 paragraphs are about the enjoyment that sports have had in our lives, which has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Then it talks about the greatest franchise in NFL history, and how the Cowboys have earned that title. Considering the fact that they had only won 2 Super Bowls while other teams like Pittsburgh and San Francisco had 4 by this point, this seems far-fetched. Plus, we're not even counting teams like the Bears and the Packers, who won lots of titles in the pre-Super Bowl days. And then, there's a rant about how the Detroit Pistons used to be bad, but now they're good. We're more than 60% of the way through the article, and a whole bunch of nothing has been said. But by the end, things start coming together where at least some argument is being made. Troy Aikman was becoming the best young quarterback in football. Even though in his first 4 games of 1990, he had thrown 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions while getting sacked 15 times. The run defense was one of the best in football, having not allowed a running back to gain 100 yards in 13 games. Combine that with the draft picks that they got from the Herschel Walker trade, and as Kelly said, if the future is as bright as it seems, the Cowboys are truly the greatest team in NFL history. This was definitely a bold prediction. To say that a team had won 5 of their last 36 games is going to become the next football dynasty is certainly a prediction out of left field. But the madman was right. Dallas turned the tide around almost immediately after. They went 6-6 over their final 12 games, they made the postseason in 1991, and then after that, became one of the greatest dynasties in football history, winning 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year stretch. It seemed like football's dynasty of the 1990s snuck up out of nowhere on everyone. That is, except for one crazy person. Special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.